That's a good question. That's a good question. That's a good question. That's a good question.
The amount of people yesterday told me that I look so tired. They're like, you look really tired. I was like, okay.
That's the opening to the show. Hello and welcome to That's a Good Question.
I'm Coleman Hayes.
And I am Mark Canton. And we are asking questions of each other. Each week we're grilling each other with one question.
Grilling.
Which we think is
Frying,
going to lead to an
roasting.
interesting, hopefully it's going to lead to an interesting conversation. It may not. What did you say under your breath while I was talking, Coleman?
You said grilling each other. I was like roasting, frying, broiling each other with questions.
Yeah. Roasting is something. Grilling is something. Frying, I don't know. He was roasting me.
Oh, he's roasting me. He was grilling me.
Yeah. He was frying me isn't really anything.
You got fried. You could say you got fried. Like
Yeah,
you
what does
got-
it mean?
You got roasted a little bit. He fucking fried you.
Really?
Right? Doesn't sound too crazy. He fried you.
He fried you.
God, he-
Do people say this, or are you saying people should say this?
No, I'm saying...
All right, now he tries to distract by coughing to avoid the subject. Oh, I can't continue. I can't continue
What are we talking about? I
talking.
couldn't possibly imagine.
Very good. Well, Coleman, any challengers for Crash Team Racers yet? Anybody who reckons
One of
they
the
can
20
take you
listeners has not challenged me yet.
on? Come on, listeners. We need to take Coleman down.
You sent me the link
and
to the
destroy-
CTR, but that's just the leaderboard. It's not. But
Yeah, it's the leaderboard, but you need to go up
I
against
didn't
those
acknowledge
times
that.
and see. So I sent a list of the fastest times on different courses to see if Coleman could compare with the world's best from 10 years ago. Probably.
My PS is.
Oh, my PS. Oh, the plug. The plug isn't working at the moment. Something. Oh, dear. Anyway, yeah, no, I'm very good at it.
We'll just have to presume I could have beat them all.
Yeah.
That's the only logical assumption. No challengers yet.
No challengers yet. Write in, listeners, markandcoleman@gmail.com.
Be the first emailer.
Well, listen, we got plenty of emails from some health website which somehow has found our email address and is like,
It was
hey,
active.
do you want to get health insurance from us? No, we don't.
How interesting. Maybe they're listening to the podcast.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe they
How
are.
interesting.
I've listened to the way you guys talk about jumping off of things, and I think you need health insurance. Very good. Well, let's get down to some questions. How about that, Coleman? Straight into
Let's
it.
do it. Do you want to ask me one first?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Okay, Coleman. My question to you is there anything that you're trying to give up at the moment?
Is there anything I'm trying to give up?
Yeah.
Is there anything I'm trying to give up? I'm trying to give up. There's like superficial things, and like I'm trying to give up eating fatty foods.
Fatty foods.
I'm trying to like eat more healthy because I'm working out, and I'm trying to like. It's.
Particularly fat or sugar?
I would
or-
say fat, sugar, salt. I'm trying to just eat better,
Yeah, okay.
so I'm trying to cut those out of my life.
What have you actually stopped eating?
Oh well, I'm just
That you
tracking
used
my
to love.
calories. There's nothing that I'm. Oh right.
So you
okay.
haven't cut anything out. You're just...
I'm kind of more watching what I eat. But like
Right.
I try to eat well 90%
You
of
can-
the time. But I'm trying to like almost sort of lower all those things. But then
Yeah.
what happens is like, you know, you meet up with or I meet up with my girlfriend and we're like, well, let's go for a meal. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Sounds great. and then like it's only so there's 2 or 3
Your
days.
impression of yourself.
Yeah, okay. yeah, let's do that. Fantastic.
And your girlfriend doesn't like to eat in anywhere which has a healthy option? Or when you go out, you're like, fuck it.
Well, she eats. We both eat pretty well when we're separate.
Right.
Like when I'm
Yeah.
not meeting
Yeah.
up with her, I eat overnight oats. I eat like bolognese most day, homemade bolognese that's like protein heavy and carbs heavy, low in fat. Like, so I'm eating quite well, or I'll have a stir fry. Like I'm eating quite well, and I think she does the same. So when we meet up, we're like, well, we've been so good,
Yeah.
and then
But that's how many meals a week is that?
well, you see, So I'm just
Wow.
off 3 days of it, of spending
Gorging.
3 days with her. So on some level,
Yeah.
like I think we had 3 or 4 burgers in the space of 3 days. It just like
Wow.
anyway.
So you had 3 or 4 burgers. You had 3 or 4 burgers in the space of 3 days.
Yes, can you believe it?
Okay, there was a microphone problem there, but we're picking it up. We missed out some of
You missed out
what-
on nothing. You missed out on a whole host of
some
nothing.
confessions about eating burgers in a
I'm trying to eat-
petrol station.
Yeah.
I'm on a new diet. I'm eating burgers in a petrol station. But yeah, so it's difficult to stay with the diet.
It's difficult. I'm trying to eat better. I think that's all that you've missed.
Yeah, dear listener. Okay, apologies for the interruption.
Yeah.
We're back into it. Coleman has a perfect diet, and yeah, and he's
I feel like
feeling
I'm
great.
dying here. I'm like eating and then I'm clearing my throat. I'm drinking water.
Well, those are
I had that feeling yesterday. I was with my girlfriend and I was dropping her back to her place. And she was like, she looked so beautiful. And I was like, I was like clearing my throat. And I was eating one of those bars again. And I was like shoving it into my face. And then I was like picking my nose. And I think, and then I like,
Jesus.
and yeah, just like this. Ugh. And then like I looked over and I'm like, how the fuck is she with me? Do you ever get a moment you're like, Jesus, I feel like an ogre.
Yeah.
You know?
Um,
I'm having that vibe.
and
right
you
now.
haven't picked up on her doing any. I don't know that you want to out her for anything, but there's nothing so far where you're like, that's a bit weird the way she does that. No, she's perfect.
Well, I
She's
mean-
perfect in every single way.
every single way. No, she's obviously not a perfect human being, but like my imperfection far surpasses her imperfection.
Well, that's very nice.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like,
But she probably is some kind of Russian agent or something like that.
I do joke about that with her. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't go down well. I do. No.
Yeah, no. Yeah. No. So that's what you've been. That's what you've been trying to give up is the endless
I'm trying
amount of burgers.
The endless. I do love a good burger, but yeah, I've been trying to cut that out, eat better, to feel better. Because even like
Yeah.
3 days of eating poorly, this is how I look and feel.
You reckon it's the eating?
It's eating impacts my how healthy I feel incredibly. Like if I go to the gym 4 times a week and watch what I eat for like 5 or 6 days, I'm feeling phenomenal. I've had 3 days now of kind of I haven't been able to go to the gym because we're down in Cork. I've been eating kind of poorly.
Did you exercise at all down in Cork?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
So, yeah, and
And now you're about to die.
now I just feel like sloppy.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like a fat mess whose folds are falling out over their pants or something, you know? Like I feel like I'm picking myself up.
This is why you've got to watch the full feed, the full videos on YouTube, listeners, is to see
Get
the
us- yeah.
disgrace that Coleman currently is.
So, anyway, let me throw it back to you.
Well,
What's-
I've been, food is always a thing for pretty much everybody,
yeah.
isn't it? So
You eat quite well. You eat like
I eat quite well, but
you eat very small amounts.
well, I mean that is something that I'm trying to cut out. Is
Food,
yeah, basically
pure water.
Just gotta eat less and less. Well, trying to eat smaller dinners. Like I'm too used to having a proper dinner, and I feel awful afterwards. As in, I just feel completely devoid of energy for the rest of the day. So trying to eat smaller meals where I'm like, okay, it's just like a wrap at dinner time rather than having a proper
Wait, what time do you have your big dinner?
big dinner. Is like 4 or 5.
That's too late for a big dinner.
Well, I
Oh well, sorry. I would feel. I went out with a Spaniard once. I used to eat my big meal around that time. She's like, "Why the fuck? You're going to bed in like 4 hours." She goes, "We eat our big meal at 1 o'clock in the day." And as soon after that, I was like, "That makes so much sense." What
you can't listen to a fucking Spaniard.
do you mean?
They eat at 11 o'clock.
They 11 o'clock at night. That's
Yeah.
right, yeah. But they eat small. They said they eat their big meal
No, they're mental. They are mental. I was in Spain recently, and just all the restaurants are closed at dinner time. They're like, "Well, we'll shut at 5 and we'll open up again at 9:30. See you then." What do you mean 9:30? Well, that's when dinner is.
We'll catch you around midnight.
We'll catch you around midnight. Oh yeah, drop in for your dinner at midnight and then go
We'll go
straight
straight
to bed.
into breakfast.
Yeah. No, they're crazy people. Well, I
A
would.
whole lot of them
Yeah, but I guess we are raised.
to have the big meal at 5 or 6, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
or even later.
What do you have? Like potatoes and shit?
The way you looked down at me. Potatoes and shit. Well, different things.
Well, spuds will drain the energy. The carbs at the spuds would like fucking wreck you, right?
Well, I've been reading this book recently, and I'm only 2/3 of the way through.
Eat all the potatoes you can. Go on.
It's called Glucose Revolution, I think.
Okay.
And it's all about having glucose spikes is what's really destroying your life. It's not what you eat; it's the order that you eat it. Is the
Eat small,
thing.
eat often. Just keep your thing at a normal level.
No, well, I'm only starting now. The end of the book, like the first third of the book, she explains the biology of it. Second third, she's like, "This is all the things it's going to cure," and it's a bit too much that you're like, "Wow, now come on, you're this has got to be bullshit now."
This is too
you'll
extreme.
you'll get a mortgage on a house if you do this. You'll be brilliant at skateboarding once you do this. But the third, so I've just started the third part where she gives you actual advice on what you should be doing. But to remove glucose spikes, she says, and she's gone into the cell biology of all this stuff. But you eat your meals in a segregated way. So you eat fiber first.
Oh, this sounds horrible.
It is
Like
mental.
one of the joys is
Well, that's it.
mixing all the food together.
I'm going to give it a try,
Go on, go
Coleman,
on, go-
and we can check in and see how I'm doing. So for breakfast today, I had like a handful of spinach before. So if you eat fiber first, you will line...
This lady wrote this book as a joke, just to watch people. Like, oh my god, what an idiot!
Well, it's interesting that she does explain the biology of all
Go
of
on,
it.
okay,
And
go on.
she's
I am
like,
curious,
here's
what's the biology?
the science behind it. I can't explain the whole thing, but she goes through glucose, fructose, sucrose, and fiber, and explains what all those things are and how they're absorbed in the body and how your insulin reacts to it, and that too many of us we're disrupting ourselves by shoving in glucose at the
So
at the wrong
glucose spikes are what disrupt is an awful lot of the source of our disruption.
Yeah.
So go on. Okay, you should eat each food independently.
Yeah. So you start with fiber.
So she's all for segregation.
So if fiber we don't absorb as energy.
which one's fiber?
So that's green vegetables basically.
Okay.
So broccoli, spinach. It's hard to like. I was in the supermarket yesterday and I was like, now what the fuck can I eat? And you can't. Well, I don't know. I haven't read the whole book, but I'm like, can I have mayonnaise with the spinach or whatever? Or do I just have to? So this morning I just stood at the counter and ate a whole load of spinach leaves. Yeah. To line your stomach with fiber, which means the glucose isn't absorbed as fast. So if you go glucose first, if you go starch or sugar first, and the fructose, then they'll just race in and overload your system and lead to a crash. Whereas if you line your stomach with fiber first. So anyway, this is what I'm trying
Any noticeable? How long have you been trying this?
since this morning.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wouldn't normally feel tired at this point anyway. And she says an answer to all kinds of things. Like,
Cancer and everything.
I mean, some of that, but like aging, like, tiredness,
Live
feeling
forever.
hungry. Some people, like, they eat and then an hour later they're like, I'm hungry again.
Could just be, yeah.
And that's...
Look, no,
the thing.
I no, but you see, I think all these things are like, I have no doubt. Sorry, my skepticism and cynicism is not that I think it's horseshit. It's that I think it's impractical,
Well, but
or maybe it's
if
not.
it can change the way I feel, then maybe it's not impractical. You know, if you're feeling like shit now, and you could not be feeling like shit now.
But I know what makes me feel like not like shit. But sorry, but as in,
Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't.
I know if I'm working out 4 times a week and I'm eating well, I'm like, ah. So, as
Yeah.
in that, for me, for that context, it doesn't matter. If I'm eating well, it doesn't matter what order I eat each food in.
Maybe.
So, like, that's where, like, or you're saying, like, you're saying you think you feel good then. Imagine doing it like that. You'd feel
I
like,
mean, you could.
you feel like Superman.
Yeah. Also, she says you can eat all the same things that you used to eat. Like,
Just put them in the right
just
order.
put them in the right order. I don't know.
Fiber first.
Yeah,
then-
fiber first.
okay, fiber.
Then proteins, and then
What about-
starches and
What about spaghetti bolognese? Like,
yeah, you're not doing that anymore. You can have the bolognese and then just eat the dry
eat,
spaghetti.
Eat raw, eat cooked mince just with no sauce. Like each of these things, and then afterwards eat the past. Who part of life is enjoying a meal though, right?
I guess it's
No,
a part
for
of
me,
life.
it definitely fucking is.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy food, and so like I don't mind going wild a day or two if I'm eating well the rest of the time. Like, and I can still feel good because to me, part of the joy of life is having a good meal with good people. Like that's like,
Sure.
like Jesus Christ. That's
But
so,
maybe
like,
it's-
you know, for a meal, people, I'll have my greens first. please."
Well,
Like-
maybe. I mean, obviously, you enjoy eating a petrol station burger at the side of the road.
That
And,
sounds
you know,
that
you're-
sounds almost like just like this skiv that we stopped at. It was
a petrol station.
It was like a Supermax. It was a complex, is what we pulled over at.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Anyway, look.
Yeah. Well, I think there's an interesting thing as well in a side note here, but like when I read something, I'm like, oh, fascinating. When somebody else tells me something that they've read, I'm like, that's bullshit. You know, you're far faster to be like, nah, that's bullshit. No, you got fooled there.
Well, that's because when you read it, you're like, it's like you're the one.
You're the
that's-
primary source.
you're like,
Yeah,
hmm.
you're the. I'm getting the information.
You just
Somebody
don't-
else passing on the information. Nah,
That doesn't sound right.
you've been.
You sure? Leave me read the book and I'll tell you what it said.
Yeah. No, they're a scam artist, and maybe she is a scam artist. I am not.
I've no here. Look, the science may very well be real. I just think I'm like, there's no one can live their life like that. Actually.
Well, maybe you can lean towards that.
Okay.
I'm a big believer in leaning. Yeah.
She leans 5
She
days.
leans. Okay, well, that's my question for this week. Over now to Coleman's question.
Well, just before we go into my question, I
Yeah.
think it's interesting that both of our things were to do with food.
Oh, giving up stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had another thing, but we don't want these episodes to be too long. So I was like, should I go into this?
Maybe we'll do it on the next one.
Yeah, whatever your question is next time. Yeah.
So the question I had, or maybe I should mix it around. I'm trying to think like what'd be a good balancing question. Let's say for this episode.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just have a think because I had one picked, but maybe I should be. No. Let's go. Yeah, let's go with this one. Okay. Yeah, we'll go with this one. So, would you rather have no thumbs or no knees?
Yeah, would you rather question. Okay. If I have no knees, my legs are just one continuous
One continuous
bone.
Yeah. No thumbs. Everything else is the same except you're just missing that thing.
Yeah. So I would have no thumbs.
This thing. You're like, yeah,
The
thumbs.
thumb.
Yeah, I'm understanding the concept.
I mean, I don't know that I would enjoy either of them, to be honest.
I'm not saying you'd like one of them. I'm just saying which one would you?
Oh, you're not saying that.
No. You like one of these. Which one is it? But if you had to live with one of them. Maybe a physical thing is maybe yeah. Now that I've asked this, I'm like, oh, would it have been a more interesting? Could I have found a better? Would you rather suck 1,000 dicks, or you know what I mean? Something. Why is it suck 1,000? No, something like. God, this sounded fun when I came up with it, and now I'm hearing it. I'm like, it's like a physical
maybe it
restriction.
isn't that fun because it is talking about people's disabilities. Like some people don't have thumbs.
Yeah. It's weird because when I read it, I was like, oh, that's a fun. And then I'm like, oh, this. I think a better one would be a situational thing.
Okay.
but I don't have one. Hold on, let me think of one.
Okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay,
Take
would
your
you
time.
rather?
And
Okay, tell you what, I'll take this one from Family Guy just because it's the one that's coming to my
Oh,
brain.
Jesus.
Have you heard this one?
no.
You haven't heard this one?
Does it have to be from Family Guy?
It's just because it's such a good. Would you rather?
Right.
And it's like, so I'm robbing this completely from Family Guy, but it's like, would you rather live as Hitler in the last 3 years of his life,
Right.
and you have to be responsible for everything that Hitler's responsible for, right? As in, like you can't stop
You have to
anything.
take care of the cat. You have to.
Or would you rather be a homeless person in New York, and no one's going to come and help you? Would you rather live your life like that? 3 years as Hitler, or a life as a homeless person in New York?
Well, I would rather live as a homeless person, Coleman. It'd be a very selfish person who would execute millions of people just to not be homeless, isn't it? So you would probably lean the other way, wouldn't you?
No, hold on, we're asking you.
No. The question's not on me. Yeah,
It's a tough life to be homeless. in
it
New York.
is tough life, but it's not killing millions of people.
Well, you know what? I guess you're more selfless than myself.
Yeah, you would lean towards. Well, he had a pretty cushy life now.
It certainly would not be a quick.
It wouldn't be a quick decision for
It wouldn't
you.
be a quick decision. You're like, oh, definitely homeless. I'm like,
So if you-
"Fuck, you'd live your whole life homeless on the street in New York City.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
rather than murdering millions of people.
You're not.
So you've got two buttons in front of you, Coleman. One is murder millions of people, and the other one is live homeless. And you're like, tough call, tough call.
It's not. It's look here. It's the
What
thing.
I- where-
No. If the things are already in motion, like you can't.
Hitler couldn't do anything
So-
to stop it.
No,
he was like, "Oh, guys, I'm worried about this now."
No, he totally could have stopped them, but like in this hypothetical, you could at least dilute your shame and guilt, being like it's already in motion.
Apologies for the helicopter. It is coming for Coleman. If you can hear that helicopter right now, it is
this a
coming for
terrible?
Coleman.
Is this am I being cancelled?
That's the process of this whole show. Don't worry about it. All of your appearances on anything to do with me are about you being cancelled.
Like if I said something controversial, but yeah, you just go straight to homeless.
Yes, of course I would go straight to homeless rather than murdering millions of people.
Hold on, I need to make sure I've gotten the phrasing of this right from Family Guy. 1 second, I'm gonna make sure. Family Guy.
What context does this come up in Family Guy?
They're in a car ride. Peter's
they're
like,
just making conversation.
yeah. Peter's like, I got one for you. I've only seen the clip online. Family Guy, hypothetical questions.
So
Hobo. Wait, this is it. Hold on,
right.
this is it.
We're gonna play it now.
I'm such a chill customer. I don't even search for insurance.
Now we're just playing an ad for insurance. Do you watch Family Guy? No, it's just music so far in this that this is quality
Boy,
stuff.
I'm sure getting my money's worth out of this rental car.
Okay, all right, I got one. Would you rather be a hobo with a 5% chance of getting inherited by a rich guy, or be Hitler 2 years before the end of World War II? Because you know you're going to have to shoot yourself, but you still got 2 more years as Hitler.
If you're the hobo, do you have a place to sleep, like an underpass, or...
Different every night.
As Hitler, can I change certain policies so that maybe I'm looked on more favorably at the end of the war?
No, you already screwed up big time. A lot of dead Jews.
Am I a blue state or a red state hobo?
Blue.
Okay, so
Okay. Actually, you went straight there without even the 5% chance of.
yeah. You're still like it's still a tough goal.
I mean, that's a very selfless.
I mean,
That's so selfless.
I guess it's just human,
No,
like a
no.
human response.
No.
Like a. So if you were told that you have to become homeless or 1 million people will die,
See, when you keep putting it in that context,
that's the context.
if that's
that
the
you put it
context that
in.
you're choosing, I'm like, okay, I'll choose homeless in that particular context.
What's the other context?
All the context is like, because those people are dying anyway. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and then like, so the context is really like, hey, would you rather live an incredibly uncomfortable life, but have a clean conscience, or would you like to live a very comfortable life, not have,
But be guilty of
but be guilty of?
murdering millions of people.
So like, but this is a hypothetical.
Yes, it's a hypothetical. Yeah.
God, you went there so quick.
Yeah.
You went there so quick.
If anyone agrees with Coleman
Wait,
that you would become Hitler
Hold on,
rather than be homeless.
No, I'm not saying
then
I would.
please
I'm just
do.
saying
You're just
I'd
saying it's
think about
difficult. Yeah, you're saying you would have to stop and think
I'd
about
have
it
like,
for a
okay.
while. If anyone else is like Coleman, please do write in.
Is
to
everyone else as
gmail.com.
morally righteous as yourself?
It's not that morally righteous to not want to murder millions of people.
Oh, no, but here, even if I chose Hitler, I wouldn't want to murder millions of people.
But that's what you're choosing.
No. I feel like we're missing each other. The people are being murdered no matter what.
Okay, if you just suddenly, like within the Family Guy thing, you can't change the policies.
Yeah. So like you're not the one who decided that.
You are the person who did that.
Yes, but
Yes,
it's not like
you're Hitler.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point of being Hitler?
It's just that for the last 2 years.
So you're saying it's the same. It's the same as the question is: would you rather be homeless or be a millionaire? But no, you're going to die in 2 years.
No. Okay. Let's hold on. Would you rather be homeless or or be a millionaire? Die in 3 years, and you're responsible
Have
for the
murdered.
death of one person. How about that?
So different question now.
Okay, so
You're
different-
admitting that the Hitler question is not that question.
I mean, the way you kept phrasing it. So you would choose to murder a million. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
It is. That is the.
I don't think that's. Okay, let me. Maybe,
So yeah. So the question is:
okay,
be a millionaire, die in 3 years,
but okay. You've a choice of
and you've murdered one person.
you to murder one person for your money. Tell you what. Oh yeah. Okay. I think I have one. I guess I'm trying to ask you a question that would at least consider you to be like, okay, where would I come down on this? The fact you're so clear cutting it, I think almost worries me.
Worries you? Why?
I don't know. There's it's too pure.
You wouldn't be Hitler. Jesus, can't.
God, what's wrong with
What
you?
the fuck is wrong with you?
Okay, if you could.
I mean, I would love to be Hitler.
Didn't even hear the second option. Hitler.
I'll be
take Hitler.
Jesus.
But no, if okay,
Okay.
you have to live, we'll say 30 years of a particular life. One is 30 years as a homeless person on the street in Dublin.
Right.
No, in Dublin. The other life, it's 30 years as a millionaire, very comfortable life, but you'll have to kill one person to do it.
Yeah, I live as a homeless person.
Jesus.
You would murder somebody to become a millionaire.
I at the very least would ask, do I know that person? What has the person I've murdered done?
No.
No, you'd have okay. Exact same context, except you haven't murdered the person, but you do have to injure a life-threatening injury
Life-threatening.
to someone else.
Well, so I don't know if they're going to die or not.
They won't die.
They won't die,
Their
but they'll be
quality of-
seriously disabled
Their quality of life will be seriously diminished
for the rest of their life.
for the rest of their life.
I mean, I would still say I would be homeless.
30 years?
All you gotta do is fucking put somebody on a ventilator for the rest of their life.
I feel like what I'm
Come on.
describing is essentially
Come
the
on.
morality of all the
I
human
do it today. I want to go out right now.
The human
Let's
condition.
find somebody.
But like on some level, it's
Well-
all of us. We're like everyone. Like if yeah.
I mean, in
This
some
is,
ways, Coleman,
this is capitalism essentially personified.
yes, we could say, we are living a rich people's lives relative to other people in the world.
Oh yes. So would you be willing to give up your home to?
Well, obviously, you see that I haven't.
yes. So you talk
Now
a good.
I've got him.
You talk a
Now
good
I've got
game.
him. Well, I'm not intentionally murdering somebody or physically disabling somebody, but
I guess it's the
Yes,
it's
we
the conscious
all-
act of doing it is what makes it all so different. Like, 'cause you know what I mean. Let's say we buy our clothes and they're in being made by like child labor in wherever.
Well, I try not to.
But like we don't feel the reality of that. While in this hypothetical, you're being forced to confront the reality of it.
Yeah.
So I guess in the hypothetical,
So in a way, you are Hitler. Yeah, there are.
would you you're straight. Would you suck?
I don't really care about money that much. So would I suck a cock to save 1 million people's lives?
Really?
What?
Okay. Would you suck a cock to save 1 million people's lives?
And this is a very strange
World.
situation that this has occurred.
It's like a James Bond. Yeah, but okay.
If I could suck a cock
Yeah.
and end the war in Gaza right now, if that's what it came down to, yeah.
But it would have to solve the whole war in Gaza
Yeah.
before you do that. Anything less than that, you're like, I'm not sucking that cock.
How many lives would it be worth saving to?
Like, now, wouldn't that be wild if that was the protest people would do?
Netanyahu was just like, if somebody comes over here, if Mark Anton comes over and sucks my cock, this whole thing goes away tomorrow.
But the those monks who like stood in front of the tank.
Well, he wasn't a monk; he was just a guy with shopping.
Oh, he's just a guy with shopping.
I think
yeah.
you're conflating the monk who set himself on fire.
Yeah. But like, you know what I mean? What an act of self-sacrifice. But yeah, anyway, but only would you
And the guy in front of the tank just disappeared. He wasn't arrested or killed, as far as we know.
would you suck a cock to? We're only choosing this because you're heterosexual. That's the only reason why. But
Something that I don't want to do.
something that
Yeah.
wouldn't be your natural inclination.
Mm-hmm.
Would you suck a cock to rescue 5 people from homelessness forever?
Would you?
For 5 people?
Yeah.
I don't
No,
think so.
you're
I don't think so.
far too
I think I'd be
selfish.
like, you're gonna have to up that number. Like, I'm like, if it was. See, the thing is, I have this hypothetical. I'm like, I do it for 1,000 people, but then I present myself with the reality of getting down on my knee. I'm like, oh God, I think it'd have to be a lot more.
We don't necessarily have to be on your knees.
But I just feel like, ugh,
If it's the knees thing that's worrying you, Colin,
it's the knee. That's the only
my
problem I
knees
have
are
with
quite
it.
weak. So
What would you do for 5 people, Mark Canton? Would you suck a cock to save 5 people from homelessness?
I mean, at some point, these hypotheticals, you're like, there's got to be another way. Like, why has it come down to this?
I hope there's like a millionaire watches this and he's like, but then of course he'd get the
But then, yeah, you got to be like, we'll just fucking pay the money then.
No, they're
Dude.
anonymous so no one can give out about them. They're anonymous so people can give out about the idea without knowing who they are. But let's say they're like, Mark Canton, I present you with a choice. Suck 1 cock publicly,
Publicly,
a public setting. People can watch. People can
it's
watch.
a show, National Concert Hall.
It's a show. No, it has to be out on the street. Can't be a work of art.
Why can't it be a work of
I
art?
don't know. That sort of raises what it is. It needs to be demeaning to you. But 5 people will be saved from homelessness. Artists or how about this? Or the basic income for the arts scheme, you know, the one that's like helping a whole bunch of your friends, that
Yeah.
will continue for infinity.
These things, though, I'm like, these things could continue. These things could be.
But let's
solved
say
anyway.
they're like, it all hinges on Mark Canton. This is the choice. You either do this or you don't.
But after a while, these hypotheticals become like, well, what is this? Do you know?
I guess we're trying to find out where's your line.
Yeah.
Like, we know where my line is. My line is like, no, I'm quite selfish, obviously.
Yeah, quite selfish.
You are
Millions of people
you
murdered.
are at least giving the illusion of selflessness.
I try to.
So I'm trying to figure out where your thing is. So
Being-
once we get to 5 people, suddenly you're questioning what else could we do in the situation.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it does just seem like, well, this is a ridiculous situation. This person could just
What if
pay. So it's no longer really my moral issue. This person has the money to help
What-
these 5 homeless people, and
well,
they're saying they'll
okay.
only do it in exchange for a blowjob.
Okay, what about this? It's I didn't say you have to do it to that person. They're not like you have to. They're not the person's not like you have to suck their dick. you can just suck a.
Well, either way, that doesn't really make a difference to my argument there.
but let's say okay, let's say
It can be any dick in the world.
let's but not your own.
Oh.
But let's say it was crowdfunded. So there's not one individual responsible. People like there's a thing, hey, do you want to raise this money? And if you raise this
Well,
money,
then I can be like, all right, you paid the money. I'm not going to suck a cock. Just help these homeless people.
the contract
The-
hinges on that happening.
Well, the morality then is on the people. Do you know?
You're absolving yourself here.
I am absolving myself. Absolutely, I'm absolving myself because it's now a group of people who have the money that can spare it to.
Well, everyone's given a tenner, you know what I mean?
Sure. And why don't they just give a tenner then anyway, without me sucking somebody's cock?
I guess it was the entertainment value of like.
Yeah, well, then it's there. It's the immorality is on them now. If they're not just going to pay that money to help the people, if they're like, we'll only do it by being entertained by you sucking a cock.
Would you suck a cock to prevent one less rocket going into Gaza?
I mean, I really don't know at this point what the parameters of me sucking cock are. Yeah. Yeah. Do you know the trolley problem?
What's the trolley problem?
It's the thing where there's workmen on the tracks. There's two sets of tracks.
You can run over 5 people or run over 1 person.
Yeah.
It's the AI problem too, right?
How's it the AI problem?
Because
We need to program it to computers?
Like-
you mean into cars?
in AI, like, sorry, maybe I explain for anyone who maybe doesn't know what the trolley problem is.
Trolley problem is there's workmen on the tracks. On one set of tracks, there's 1 workman. On the other set of tracks, there's 5 workmen. And there's a train coming towards them. And you can flip a switch so that it goes instead. It's heading towards the 5 guys, not the pizza place or whatever the fuck it is. It's heading towards the 5 workmen, and you can flip a switch and head it towards the 1. And what would you do?
Well, head it towards the 1.
Yeah, I don't think I would.
You just leave it, do whatever it's going to do.
Yeah.
Leave it up to whatever the.
Well,
way-
again, I guess I see flaws in the hypothetical. 5 workmen are far more likely to see the train coming
oh,
towards
would
them.
you come on?
No, that is
Jesus Christ! These are just meant to be fun hypotheticals about morality, and you're
Well,
like,
these are just fun hypotheticals, just about murdering millions of people. It's just a bit of fun.
just a bit of fun, Kenton.
Well,
Okay, but okay, go on. The 5.
go on then. Murder the 5 guys.
You'd easily
So-
murder the 1 individual rather than the 5. But wait, are you saying? Hold on, look. Let's take the technicality. But let's say there's 3 options from my perspective. 1, you flip it for the 1 person. 2, you flip it for the 5 people. The third option is you do nothing and the train hits whatever it's going to hit, and you're just like, nothing to do with me.
In the original problem, it's going to hit the 5.
All right, so you would let it hit the 5.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd flip the switch.
That's because to flip the switch means you're guilty of murder.
Yeah, and
Even
people
though
would say,
to
well,
flip-
you're saving 5 lives. I mean, I think the hypothetical breaks down a bit, that 5 people are far more likely to see the train coming.
But it's the hypothetical.
Don't roll your eyes at me like that.
That's because it is
Because
it's
you
the
have
Coventry.
to-
It's the Coventry conundrum.
What's the Coventry conundrum?
So there's real world application of this. During World War II, I was chatting about this with Killian Sunderman because I used to do a bit on it. Because the Coventry conundrum was in World War II when they broke the Enigma code, they could figure out where the Nazis were bombing. They were going to
Right.
bomb Coventry. The problem was if we alert Coventry, the Nazis become aware that we've broken the Enigma code. We won't be able to win the war. We won't be able to prevent future atrocities. So the conundrum is, do we let them bomb Coventry without telling Coventry? It's
Yeah.
called the Coventry conundrum. In the bit I do on, and maybe I might still do it, I go, but I've been to Coventry.
Well, you've been to Coventry since it was bombed.
Yeah, but I was like, this was no conundrum, you know. Anyway,
Yeah.
so there is real world applications, and even though you're arguing the hypothetical of the 1v5, really the thing is like, look, what would you do? Would you save 1 life to save? Would you kill or would you sacrifice? Kill sounds a bit harsh, but would you sacrifice 1 to save 5?
There's a follow-up to it where you're on a bridge and you see the same thing happening.
But you're the person.
No. There's a really heavy person beside you on the bridge. So there's a track with
where is this going?
There's a track with nobody and there's a track with 5. And the train is heading towards the people with 5 people on it. Would you push the heavy person off the bridge to flip the switch, which will send it on a track? So you're doing the same thing. Would you push the person off the bridge to flip the switch and send the train down the track where there's no people?
So you're on the track with the 5, but the train's
No,
heading
you're not
towards-
on the track.
but-
You're on the bridge.
But the same concept. You're on the bridge. The train's heading for you. The only way you can stop the train.
Train's heading for the 5 people, not you. You're not at danger.
I don't know how my. Oh, sorry, but I'm pushing the person off the bridge.
So you're on a bridge over the tracks.
Oh right. Okay.
So you're on a bridge over the tracks. You're not in danger. There's a heavy person beside you. You're not heavy enough, apparently, to flip the switch yourself. But you can push this person off the bridge and flip that big switch, and it'll send the train away from the 5 people who are going to die.
Okay. Well, this is a different because you have to physically exert.
Sure, you
Like
can
flipping
push
a
them.
switch is truly a moral conundrum, right? We still rolling there and all that stuff. There's like, I know. But by the way, we haven't got back to your 1v5. I'd like to talk about that too as well at one point. But if I had to push this big person to, that feels weird then because I'm like, because now you're asking me to physically kill someone, like in close combat in close proximity. I'm like, okay, this is fucking.
Well, you don't
wild.
necessarily have to,
I could-
strangle them, but you can just push them off and they will die.
Maybe I might try and convince them. I might try and convince them to jump. The problem I have with that conundrum is I'm probably like, okay, I'm going to look around me and see is there other heavy things around.
Apparently, there's not.
But like,
Now it's interesting, but it is interesting.
because that changes it because
It does
because you're so connected with the death now. The thing about flipping a switch, it's like dropping a bomb from a plane and killing someone hand to hand. Even though they're both dying, dropping a bomb from a plane feels almost. You're far away from it.
Yeah, but like morally, it's the same. It adds up to the same thing, but it's so. Most people would say yes, I'd flip the switch. To if there's one person on the tracks over there and there's 5 people, but most people say
Then I
no, I wouldn't push.
kill.
I wouldn't push the person off the bridge to save them. But it's the same thing, and
It is, but it isn't. Like there is a big difference between clicking a button and like physically pushing someone. Like that's emotionally devastating.
you wouldn't be emotional. Flipping a button, you'd be like, that's fine.
Flip buttons all day long.
I can murder people with buttons
But,
all day
okay,
long.
but
yeah.
well, let's bring back to you. You're on
Yeah.
the 1v5. You would just leave it hit the 5. But would you only leave it hit the 5 because you know this other problem? You're like, you won't catch me there.
I don't think I would.
You wouldn't flip the switch.
Yeah, I mean,
You leave 5 people die.
well, as I say, 1, they stand a better chance of seeing it. 2, they're on the tracks in the wrong place.
Why are they on the tracks? They're idiots, clearly.
Well, there has been a mistake made that they are working in the wrong place at the wrong time, whereas the other guy, he's in the right place.
Unless the person working the signal made a mistake. Like whoever set up the signal thing made a mistake.
Yeah.
I think... But you wouldn't flip the switch.
No, I don't think I would.
And so you definitely wouldn't push the guy off.
I wouldn't push the guy. Oh, I'd love to push the guy off. I'd do that without the 5 people in danger.
Oh, there's a switch? What? Yeah, it's an interesting... What about the Coventry conundrum? Would you have alerted Coventry?
I
And let the Nazis know?
probably would have, because I don't think that's the only thing. Because what are you saving it for? If you're not going to save it for Coventry, also, are the Nazis definitely going to know that you've cracked the Enigma code?
I guess it's...
I think you don't know the future, and now you can save Coventry.
There's... here, nah.
Like, you can just say, okay, we know they're going to attack Coventry. Just fucking scramble the planes, and the Nazis would be like, oh, Jesus, a whole lot of planes there. They must have been,
Yeah, no,
they must have seen us coming.
No, I think...
No, you would bomb Coventry.
No, I join in with them. I was
Yeah.
we'll bomb it as well. No, I think because obviously, look, in the reality of it, they had radar, they had a whole bunch of things. But if their only information was from the Enigma code, I think that's when, like, in the real world application, that's when they're like, we need to be able to verify this in another way. And if we only are able to verify it via Enigma, for the sake of not leaving on that we've broken Enigma, we can't do it. So I think that's what the Coventry conundrum is. Like, this was the only way we were able to independently or to verify this. Then I think I understand why it's like, yeah, you got to, like, this is a war. People
accept that is the only outcome, though.
You would have said, alert Coventry.
Alert. Well, yeah, let's do something about this, and then maybe the Nazis will be like slightly suspicious, but they won't know. And, you know, do we know at this point that the only way of ending this war is that the Nazis is by bombing Coventry, is by the Nazis not knowing that we've cracked the enemy? I mean, they don't know at that point. Are there other ways that we're going to win the war?
I think you got to take advantage of it. At that moment in time, that was still during the Battle of Britain. So let's say everything was still up in the air, and the Brits had a trump card via the Enigma, and I'm like, I wouldn't be so quick to play it in that particular context. So I'm like, nah, I think you'd hang back.
Yeah, what are you using it for then?
Using it
hang back, just let them.
You're using it to win the war, not to win the independent battles.
But how is that going to help you win the war, if not through the independent battles?
Well, like, you'll win the ones, like, I guess the Coventry one is one where, like, put it this way, if it was D-Day and you heard it, you're like, of course we're going to use this fucking information to navigate D-Day. Like, where it's a strategic military, like, push forward or, like, incursion. But, like, if it's, like, Coventry, where it's like, okay, we'd be giving up our game for something that they're just going to do tomorrow to somewhere else as well. Like, as in, do you know what I mean? So you're weighing all of these together.
But you don't know that. You don't know that this is definitely going to lead to this.
No, you don't definitely
You do know what's going to happen
but you
to
have
Coventry.
That's
definitely going to happen.
Yeah, but you have to be... Yeah. No, jeez.
I'll tell you an interesting thing, and we'll wrap up now.
Go on, tell me this.
I tell you...
These hypotheticals were an interesting conversation, I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Okay.
After the war, the British, they'd cracked the Enigma machine, but they gave it to the Americans. They were like, oh, the Nazis had this Enigma machine. It's very good. You can't crack the code from it. They didn't tell them that they'd cracked the Enigma machine, and they gave it to the Americans. Being like, this is an amazing machine, isn't it? You can do all kinds of codes. We got them off the Nazis anyway, and feel free to use it because nobody can crack that code.
Did the Americans use it?
I don't. They certainly. I think maybe so then the British could spy on the Americans. Anyway, I was told that by my cryptography professor in college. Now, Coleman, what do you think of those questions?
I thought the hypotheticals one actually, as much as terrible as the first question was, the premise of a hypothetical, I think fascinating. I thought it led to a very interesting sense about, like, morality. Yeah. The first, I'd give it we're rating it out of 5.
Sure.
Out of 5, I'd give the hypothetical, actually, I'd give that a good 4 out of 5. I think the first one, have you everything given up? I feel like we just kind of meandered. I'd give that maybe 1 or 2 out of 5.
Jesus.
How about you?
Yeah, I would give my question 4. I think your question, I would give, I don't know, 1 or 2 maybe. I don't love
the hypotheticals
because I'm always like, yeah, but what about this and what about that?
But even that's interesting. Well, to me.
So,
but I thought there was
find
more passion in the hypothetical.
You have to limit them so much. No, you can't do that. To make them.
But that's but even like we talked more passionately about the hypotheticals than we did about the
burgers.
But the burgers.
We did have to clip out a bit where you're talking quite passionately about the burgers, though.
But yeah.
No, maybe I'll give them both 3.
Both? You're giving both those an even 3?
Ah, yeah.
You don't think we talked more from the hypotheticals?
I think...
Come on now.
No, come on. Your question was something you got from Family Guy
But
that
look,
was easily answered.
it led to all these other things.
All right. Well,
3, you give them both the same.
yeah, I would give them both. The
You
same.
think the conversations that led from both of those are was the same?
Yeah. Well, maybe you were looking for a particular thing out of the conversations that I wouldn't necessarily. Okay, Coleman. All right. Well, we are in disagreement this time.
Well, I read you. I only have one answer.
Okay.
Do you have any answers?
No, I didn't get any answers because I didn't
So-
really had time.
This is the person said they'd choose no knees. I'd learn how
Right, we're going back to that.
because that's the hypothetical I had.
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
They said no knees. I'd learn how to do the splits for picking things up, etc. Thumbs are too useful, I think.
Fair.
Fair.
Enough. Good. Well, if you have answers to either of those questions, or if you have answers from other people, please do send them in to Mark
Or if
and
you just want
Coleman.
to send an email,
Or if you just want to send an email just to test it, just to see if it's working, please do send them in.
do.
We still haven't got a sign off for the show.
That was a good question.
That was a good question. See you next time.
That's a good question.